UFC Fight Night, New Mexico. We got Brandon Moreno taking on Steve Erceg. Why Steve Erceg is having a chance to fight Brandon Moreno, I have no idea. But we'll go ahead and break down this fight card, give you the full betting card breakdowns and the predictions for each and every one of these fights. Obviously, we'll be doing the top five locks of the night, and we'll be doing the underdog picks as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. To start the card off, we got Markel Maderos taking on Austin Hubbard. Now, Markel Maderos, 9-1 overall record, 1-1 in the UFC. He had that unanimous decision win in his last fight over Landon Quinones, where he pretty much outstruck him and had a significant amount of ground control over him. I mean, it was an okay performance. Like, he didn't look, it wasn't as spectacular as the Contender Series fight that he had with Isakov, where he landed a nasty knee straight up the middle, put Isakov out. Now he's taking on Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard coming off that split decision loss to Alexander Hernandez, where it was arguably it could have went either way. Austin Hubbard showed toughness in that fight. He has no quit in him. He's got that dog in him. But I just think that Marquel Maderos is just going to be a little bit too much to handle on the feet for Austin Hubbard, and he's got sound wrestling and grappling, so I don't really see Austin Hubbard having his way with him in the grappling department either. So to me, it's going to be a stand-up war, banging it out, and Austin Hubbard's more than game to just do that. He's like I said, Austin Hubbard doesn't have quit in him. The man's tough. He can go blow for blow with anybody. And I don't think we've ever seen him knocked out in the UFC or any other promotion. Not sure if he has any knockout losses on his record. Either way, he had that victory over Michael Figlag before that loss to Alexander Hernandez, where it was a unanimous decision, where I believe he was the underdog in that fight too. He did his thing, looked pretty decent. I just think that, Marquel Maderos is younger, hungrier, and he's going to show a lot more aggression and a lot more, technique on the feet in the striking department. And I believe that he will beat Austin Hubbard by unanimous decision. I don't think he knocks Austin Hubbard out. Austin Hubbard's pretty durable, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had his key moments in this fight as well, because he's been doing this for a while. I mean, the man's like 16-8 overall, taking on somebody who's 9-1. So either way, it'll be a fun fight. I believe that Marquel Maderos it's his time. He's a little bit better than Austin Hubbard. The next fight on the card we have is in the men's featherweight division. We got Jamal Emmers taking on Gabriel Miranda. Now, this fight can go either two ways. I don't see it going the distance, to be honest with you. So that would probably be your best bet. No distance on this fight, or under 2.5. Now, Jamal Emmers is going to have the better of the striking. He's got power in his hands, and he's actually pretty decent on the ground too. Jamal Emmers does have a black belt. Now, Gabriel Miranda, on the other hand, he's like a third-degree black belt. He's got like 16 submission wins, but he has not fought the best of competition. I mean, he's got that loss to Morgan Chartier like 5 months ago by a left hook, and Chartier was just all over him, put him to sleep. Before that, he's got that submission of the rear naked choke over Shane Young. Who's Shane Young though? You feel me? Like, these are, other than that TKO loss to Benoit Saint-Denis, like, we don't really know who he's actually fighting. And when he does fight somebody that's good, he usually takes an L here. Now, Jamal Emmers, he's coming off that TKO loss to Nate Landwehr, where they were both slugging it out. They both had their key moments, and Nate Landwehr just caught him, put him down with some hammer fists after that. Before that fight, he's got that TKO win over Dennis Bazooka, which he looked pretty good in. Like I said, Jamal Emmers, he's going to be better on the feet. He has that split decision loss to Jack Jenkins before that fight. So, like, he's taking some good people into deep waters, and when he needs to prevail, he's got that in him. That heel hook loss to Pat Sabatini 3 years ago. I mean, it's 3 years ago, so I mean, I'm pretty sure his ground game's got a lot better since then. I mean, Pat Sabatini's no slouch on the ground. So either way, like I said, this fight won't go the distance. Either Gabriel Miranda subs him or Jamal Emmers knocks him out. I'm going to lean more towards the side of Jamal Emmers knocking him out. I believe he can keep him at bay with his defensive wrestling. I believe that he can keep him at bay with his jiu-jitsu. The only way I see this fight getting crazy and Miranda pulling off a crazy sub is if Jamal Emmers gets too wild, leaves an opening for Miranda to capitalize on, and somehow they end up in a crazy scramble where Miranda, establishes who's the better black belt in jiu-jitsu. But like I said, the pick is going to be Jamal Emmers. He's got better losses on his record. He's got better split decision wins, and he's going to be able to hit harder. It's going to be a one way show on the feet when it comes to who's better, and it's going to be leaning towards Jamal Emmers' side. So the pick is going to be Jamal Emmers. Gabriel Miranda, he's very inactive. He doesn't fight too often. The next fight that we have on the card is in the men's lightweight division. We got Rafa Garcia taking on Vince Pichel. Now, Rafa Garcia, very durable, got a great chin. The dude can take a punch, and nobody's really putting him out, like nobody's really just putting him away. I mean, he's got that loss 5 months ago to Grant Dawson where, he got pretty much taken down to the ground, and Grant Dawson hit him with some vicious ground and pound, and, they stopped the fight. But other than that, I don't see Vince Pichel actually trying to resort to any type of wrestling here. Rafa Garcia should have the wrestling advantage if it does decide to go down there. Vince Pichel, also 42 years old. His last win was like 3 years ago, and it was over Austin Hubbard at that. Other than that, back-to-back losses to Mark Madsen, and his last fight was to Ishmael Bonfim, where he lost a unanimous decision, where he didn't look too bad because Ishmael Bonfim, everybody was just expecting Ishmael Bonfim to, put him out, put him away. But I know Vince Pichel, I've been seeing Vince Pichel fight for a long fucking time, and he's durable. The dude's got a chin. He can scrap, he can bang it out. But he's just not on the level of Rafa Garcia, who's also like 12 years younger. So I believe Rafa Garcia is going to beat him to the punch every time. I believe he's going to be quicker than him on the feet. And I believe that he's just going to outstrike Vince Pichel for probably the entire duration of this fight. I do see this fight going the distance because, like I said, Vince Pichel is not somebody you can just, put away like that. If Ishmael Bonfim couldn't even put him away, I don't think Rafa Garcia puts him away, but I do think Rafa Garcia will beat him to the punch every time, show more durability, show more agility and strength. So pick is going to be Rafa Garcia to get it done and to move his record to 17-4. The next fight on the card we have is Lupi Godinez versus Julia Pilastri. Now, Lupi Godinez is good. Lupi Godinez has a ample amount of UFC experience, while Julia Pilastri is literally 1-1 in the UFC promotion right now. Lupi Godinez, she's gonna have the better of the wrestling for sure. Julia Pilastri, she may have an edge in striking, but Lupi Godinez, she keeps a very high guard and her striking is not bad. I do see Lupi Godinez winning this fight. The last two fights for Lupi Godinez, she lost a unanimous decision to Mackenzie Dern, which, Mackenzie Dern won the first round, but Lupi Godinez clearly won rounds 2 and 3, so I don't understand how she even lost that fight. Everybody who watched that fight knows Lupi Godinez won it, but either way, the loss before that came to Virna Jandiroba. Virna Jandiroba is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fucking ace. She's in title contention right now. Like, she's no slouch at all. And Lupi Godinez still looked good in that fight. She just couldn't, control her on the ground and whatnot. Now, Julia Pilastri, she's coming over that split decision win to Corey McKenna. It was a lackluster of a fight. Both of the women, they went back and forth, had key moments, and Julia Pilastri just edged out a decision, or a split decision at that. The fight before that lost a unanimous decision to Josephine Knudsen. The way that Julia Pilastri comes in, she's going to come in trying to strike. She's confident in her hands. She's all right against the cage. If Lupe Godinez puts her against the cage, she can work her way off the cage and probably, continue to keep the fight standing. But I don't see her out wrestling Lupe Godinez whatsoever. Lupe Godinez has much more wrestling credentials than Julia Pilastri. Like I said, Pilastri is 1-1 in the UFC, and Lupe Godinez has probably like 7 fights or 8 fights deep into the UFC. So she's a veteran taking on a newcomer pretty much, and I think this fight is a layup for her. And I think that Lupe Godinez gets it done in New Mexico City. She's much more durable. She's got the experience edge. Like I said, Julia Pilastri, she might be somewhat edgy on the striking, but she's not going to be able to stop the takedown. So the pick here is going to be Lupe Godinez to get it done. I believe she bounces back, and she's going to be entering in the conversation of who she should fight next. That's somewhere along the top 10, the top 5 range. So that experience edge is very, very real when it comes to these levels fights in the UFC, and I just see Lupe Godinez winning this fight. The next fight we have on the card is in the men's featherweight division. We got Melquizio Costa taking on Christian Rodriguez. Now, Christian Rodriguez is known as the prospect killer. His last fight, I wouldn't even say fraud checked Austin Bashi. Austin Bashi was a newcomer in the UFC, had a lot of hype on him coming into it from his contender series win. Everybody just thought that he was going to go out there and look phenomenal against the prospect killer Christian Rodriguez, who literally fucking hands all the prospects their first loss in the UFC pretty much. He beat Isaac Dalgarian, he beat Cameron Simon, and he beat Raul Rosas Jr., who's also on this fight card too. And all these fights, they obviously age well because besides the Cameron Simon fight, Cameron Simon kind of, he hasn't been on like a tear or anything. But Raul Rosas, obviously, he's a good contender in the UFC. He's been having a lot of good victories, some by submission, some going to the unanimous decision and whatnot. But Austin Bashi, I knew C-Rob would probably win that fight anyway, because giving Austin Bashi a Christian Rodriguez for his first fight in the UFC is just crazy work. It's diabolical. I knew for a fact he was going to have a very, very hard time handling Christian Rodriguez. Now, Melquizio Costa is no prospect. He's got a shit ton of fight experience. The dude knows what he's doing in there. He's coming off that win over Andre Fili by guillotine, where they had their key moments on the feet. Melquizio Costa showed good kicks. He got good leg kicks, good snapping body kicks. He can crack too with his hands. Andre Fili just got a little too comfortable in his guard. And, Melquizio Costa sunk in that choke. Nobody really thought it was too deep, but then out of nowhere, Andre Fili's tapping. So obviously the dude's got some power behind his submissions as well too. And he's on like a 2-fight win streak. He beat Shylon Nerdebecki. That was a good fight as well. Shylon Nerdebecki got hella fights, probably like close to 50 fights, and nobody really expected Melquizio Costa to win that fight. I believe he was the underdog. But he showed good grit, showed good submission game. He ends up choking out Shylon Nerdebecki, and after that fight, went on to fight Andre Fili, where he beat Andre Fili by guillotine choke, where he showed a much more improved striking repertoire. Like I said, snapping body kicks. He's got good left hooks, good right hooks. He can pop straight down the middle too. So this is going to be a very, very tough fight for Melquizio Costa, and it's going to be a tough fight for Christian Rodriguez too. I don't believe Christian Rodriguez has fought anybody of the caliber of Melquizio Costa, and Melquizio Costa still 3-2 in the UFC. Christian Rodriguez 5-2 in the UFC. But Melquizio Costa, he's got a lot of dog in him. He's got grit to him. And he's actually an underdog in this fight as well, too. So he might be the dog lock of the night. The dude's got tremendous amount of skills. And I believe from what I've seen in his last fight against Andre Fili, he is getting better and better. How does this fight play out? How does it end? I'm not too sure. Somebody could get knocked out. I mean, we've seen Melquizio Costa get knocked out before. He's been knocked out by who did he get knocked out to? Steve Garcia knocked him out, but I believe that was up in weight. Steve Garcia is a powerful puncher who's on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak right now. So Steve Garcia's got a lot of hype behind him at the moment, and he's cracking people. He's cracking people left and right. Put it that way. Does Christian Rodriguez knock Melquizael Costa out? I don't believe so. I believe that it's going to be damn near even on the feet, and I think it plays out on the ground. And I can see Melquizael Costa racking up ground time on him, control time. I don't think he'll just hold him down there because Christian Rodriguez is very scrappy. He's got a good get up game. But the pick is going to be Melquizael Costa for me. It's a tough call. But either way, this is a fight that you just pretty much you sit back and enjoy. I really would recommend betting on it, but I mean, Melquizael Costa as an underdog looks pretty good to me. I mean, that money line is calling my name. Even the over 1.5 rounds, I believe it does go over that. Like I said, Christian Rodriguez is durable. I mean, he has that submission loss to Julian Erosa. I mean, if Julian Erosa is pretty slick too, though, with his jiu-jitsu and his ground game. So I mean, I can't really knock Christian Rodriguez for that. But Julian Erosa like does not have good stand-up, and Melquizael Costa is displaying good stand-up and a good ground game. So like I said, I think this is going to be a harder fight for Christian Rodriguez than it is going to be for Melquizael Costa. So I'm gonna go with Melt Costa on this one. Not too confident, but I like the money line. The next fight that we have on the card is between Jose Medina and Atieb Gutier. Now, the odds are crazy on this one. Medina's a plus 400 underdog. Gutier is a plus 500, favorite. So Gutier is expected to go out here and, put Medina's dick in the dirt, knock him out, get an easy victory, first or second round. I don't see this fight going the distance whatsoever. But what we got to take in consideration is the fact that this fight is in Mexico City, and the elevation up there is something different for a lot of fighters. And Gutier, he's shredded to the gills. The dude's, he's a physical specimen, and we know like those type of muscles, they take a lot of oxygen for people to be able to continue to look good coming out of the first round. So either Gutier gasses and Medina just has a very vicious underdog performance where he comes out biting, or Gutier just puts him down, puts him to sleep. I mean, I don't know how Medena's still fighting anyway. I mean, he lost on a Contender Series badly to Magomed Gadzhimagomedov, and then he made his UFC debut where he lost a unanimous decision to Zach Reese. So, like I said, Gutier should win. This is a fight I'm staying away from. The odds are just too crazy for me. We saw what happened with Josiah Musasa when he was a minus 600 favorite. Took a nasty knockout or not even a knockout, got knocked down by Carlos Vera and then got rear naked strangled by him. So I'm gonna stay away from this fight. If you do want to bet on it, you should be able to get your money worth with UTA if you parlay it. But the best bet is to just not bet on this fight and just watch it, because you never know how these UFC debuts are actually going to go for these newcomers, especially when you're in Mexico City fighting at elevation. So like I said, I'm going to stay away from this one. UTA should get it done. Medina's not good. We seen him get smoked on a Contender Series and beat by Zach Reese. So there's that. The next fight that we have on the card is in the men's flyweight division. We got Edgar Chairez taking on CJ Vergara. Now, Edgar Chairez is coming off that loss, that unanimous decision loss to Joshua Van, where he looked very impressive in my opinion. He arguably won not even arguably, he won the first round. He was much more quicker to the punch than Joshua Van was, but that's just how Joshua Van starts off just about every fight. He starts it slow, and then he really picks up the pace in the later of the rounds, putting the pace on guys and outworking them. And that's what he did. He outworked them. Edgar Chairez did rock Joshua Van a couple of times, but Joshua Van, he's just on another level at the moment. He's only getting better and better, and he's definitely somebody that I'm gonna keep on my radar, and I look forward to watching him fight. Now, CJ Vergara, on the other hand, he's coming off 2 back-to-back losses. The first loss he lost was to Asu Amabaya by unanimous decision, where he was just outworked the entire time. And then he lost to Ramazan Timarov, where Ramazan Timarov just fucked him up with his striking. I mean, rocked CJ Vergara to the body several times, and we just seen Ramazan Timarov come over that win over Charles Johnson, where he looked good in that fight. Charles Johnson didn't look bad at all. Charles Johnson picked up the pace in the third round and had everybody on the edge of their seats thinking that he might have won the fight, but Ramazan Timarov clearly won that fight. But anyway, besides that, Edgar Chairez, he did go to war with Joshua Van. It was a very, very fun fight to watch. Just based on the last fights that both of these guys had, my money is going to be on Edgar Chairez, just for the fact that, like I said, he took on a very tough Joshua Van, who's coming up in the world. The man looks good. The man knows what he's doing, and Edgar Chairez beat him in the first round. If he could continue to have that type of pace and aggression towards CJ Vergara when they fight, I believe that he'll be able to beat CJ Vergara in every aspect of this fight. I do see this fight going a little bit longer. I don't believe that Edgar Chairez is going to have the power that Ramazan Timarov had to put CJ Vergara out in the first round. I believe that this fight does get drawn out a little bit. I believe that it does go over 2.5. Edgar Chairez should have the grappling advantage. I don't believe that CJ Vergara has ever even tried to take anybody down in any of his fights. He likes to stand and bang. And CJ Vergara, he's got some very crisp boxing. So does Edgar Chairez. I believe Edgar Chairez hits a little bit harder. So yeah, I mean, somebody could get put to sleep in this fight. Somebody could get TKO'd. But my money is going to lean towards Edgar Chairez, just for based on his last performance, where he looked really good against Joshua Van, who I believe will smoke CJ Vergara. Yeah, the pick is going to be Edgar Chairez. CJ Vergara is no slouch, though. This is going to be a fun fight to watch. Both of these people, they're going to go at it. They're going to get right in each other's faces and start beating the shit out of each other. I like that. Edgar Chairez is going to be more dynamic, more tools in his toolbox. He's going to utilize those snapping leg kicks. He's going to utilize that jab. He's going to utilize just about every limb that he has when it comes to mixed martial arts, and I just see CJ Vergara trying to box him. So Edgar Chairez is the pick. The next fight we have is in the men's flyweight division. We got Ronaldo Rodriguez taking on Kevin Borjas. Now Ronaldo Rodriguez, coming off that unanimous decision win over Ode Osborne, which was pretty controversial. Ode Osborne clearly won the first round, dropped Rodriguez. I mean, he almost had him out. I think that if this fight took place anywhere else other than UFC Noche, that the referee might have stopped the fight. But it was a good fight. Rodriguez showed durability, showed dogness, and came back and won the second round definitively. And the third round, it was more of a striking battle where it really could have went either way. That's why I say controversial unanimous decision. I mean, if anything, it could have been a split decision, but it is what it is. He got the W. The fight before that, he wins by rear naked choke. These are the only two fights that he has in the UFC. He's taking on Kevin Borjas. Kevin Borjas, 2 back-to-back losses. I mean, he lost his first fight to Joshua Van. Like I talked about Joshua Van earlier. Joshua Van is just that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joshua Van is a cold piece. So that loss is not a bad loss whatsoever. It's not like it ages badly because Joshua Van is on a skid or some shit. Joshua Van is doing his thing and he looking real good. The loss after that, the Van loss, he lost to Alessandro Costa, where he got knocked out, pretty much a TKO. Costa grabs the back mount, starts raining down punches. Ref jumps in, and that was it. It was curtains on that one. So we got somebody who's 3-0 2-0 in the UFC fighting somebody who's 0-2 in the UFC. So my pick is going to be Ronaldo Rodriguez to get it done. I mean, his last performance, I was not too impressed. He does like winding leg kicks, like where he'll step into it and really telegraph that he's about to kick your leg. Kevin Borjas, he has decent stand-up. I mean, it's going to be a back and forth, stand-up battle where Rodriguez will have the advantage on the ground. I see Rodriguez probably taking him down, imposing his will, racking up that control time, maybe even getting a sub. I just think that Ronaldo Rodriguez is just a little bit better than Kevin Borjas. Like, nothing too crazy, nothing too like over the top, better. I just think that he's just a tad bit better than him. I don't know where he goes from when he picks up this victory. I don't know what the fight to make next for him is, but I do see him, getting his hand raised at the end of the night when they do fight on Saturday. I see Kevin Borjas falling to 0-3 in the UFC and potentially getting cut from the organization. I mean, like I said, Kevin Borjas, he's not fighting bums in the UFC. He lost to Costa and lost to Joshua Van. Those are two good losses. But yeah, Ronaldo Rodriguez, he should be able to have his way with Borjas here. It's I wouldn't say a layup fight, but it's an easier fight than Ode Osborne. So give me Ronaldo Rodriguez to get it done. The next fight that we have on the card is in the men's bantamweight division. We got David Martinez taking on Simon Oliveira. David Martinez is really fucking good. I can tell you that right now. David Martinez got hands. He's gonna come out there. He's gonna throw his shit. He's gonna look good doing it. And Simon Oliveira, he's just going to be scrambling probably to try to get this fight down to the ground. I mean, we've seen Simon Oliveira outworked on the ground already, even though he's more of a BJJ guy. We also seen him get knocked out by Daniel Marcos like a couple of years ago. I believe that David Martinez kind of does the exact same thing here. David Martinez is, like I said, he's a good striker. He's got his boxing looks really clean. His defensive wrestling looks really clean. If the fight does so happen to go down to the ground, he's not just gonna stay. He's not gonna just lay there and accept position. He's gonna scramble his ass off, work his way up, and keep the fight standing, and probably deliver a nasty knockout. Simon Oliveira's just been very lackluster. I mean, he looked good on the regional scene where, he was subbing guys, and then he gets to the UFC, and, you think that he's just going to be the next, Damian Maya, the wizard on the ground, and he's just not. He's very lackluster, like I said, and if he can't get the fight down to the ground, he's kind of like a deer caught in headlights. So the pick is going to be David Martinez. I'm not going to spend too much time on this fight. David Martinez is on the top 5 locks of the night. I'm going to lock him in because, like I said, I know he's going to get the job done. I'm very confident that he does. He's just much more aggressive, younger, hungrier. His hands look way better. And he's not a person you're just going to be able to take down and, have your way with. So I'm going to go ahead and pick David Martinez. He's the much better fighter anywhere the fight goes. And he's got a ton of heart, ton of dog in him. And he's going to get his hand raised Saturday, and he's going to take his record to 12-1. So David Martinez it is. The next fight we have on the card is in the men's bantamweight division. We got Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Vince Morales. Now, Raul Rosas Jr. coming over that unanimous decision win over Oriki Lang at the UFC Noche Sphere. Other than that, he came off that submission win over Ricky Tercios the fight before that, and a win over Terrence Mitchell the fight before that via TKO. And the fight before that, he lost to, Christian Rodriguez, the prospect killer. He's the only person to actually beat, Raul Rosas Jr. But this was like almost 2 years ago. So since then, Raul Rosas Jr. has looked a lot better, a lot stronger. I mean, and his striking is just developing each and every fight that he has. He's looking better in the striking department because the dude's a wizard when it comes to the grappling. Now, he's taking on Vince Morales, who just lost his fight last month to Elijah Smith. And Elijah Smith, that was Elijah Smith's debut in the UFC. So now you go from losing to somebody who made their UFC debut to somebody who's got 5 fights in the UFC already. Now, Vince Morales is like 3-7 in the UFC in total. He was cut, and then they brought him back after he went on like a 5-fight win streak on the regional scene. Looked good on there. He came back, made his debut, his re-debut against Taylor Lapilus, where he lost a unanimous decision, just pretty much got outstruck the entire time. And then he took on Elijah Smith last month, who, like, this fight was crazy because Vince Morales had plenty of opportunities to win just about each and every round. But Vince Morales clearly likes to do dumb shit. Like they say, position before submission. It's not even like he was going for a lot of subs, but it was really putting him out of position for the most part for him to be reversed by Elijah Smith. So Elijah Smith ends up winning by unanimous decision. Elijah Smith looks really good, by the way. I believe that, give this dude a few more years in the UFC, he's going to be really somebody that is going to give plenty of people problems in the bantamweight division. But you go from losing that fight to Elijah Smith to taking on somebody who's even better and more versed at grappling. Because Elijah Smith pretty much out grappled you the entire time that fight. Yeah, Morales had key moments where we thought that he had a sub locked in a few times. We thought that the sub was deep, but Elijah Smith dogged it out. Now he's taking on somebody who has much better wrestling and much better grappling than Elijah Smith and Raul Rosas Jr. So the pick is obvious as day. The pick is Raul Rosas Jr. I believe that he outworks Vince Morales everywhere the fight goes. Vince Morales, he may have an edge in striking, but like I said, Raul Rosas Jr. striking has been looking a lot better. So I wouldn't be surprised if Raul Rosas Jr. wanted to display some of that technique that he's been working on. But when it goes to the ground, because it's gonna go to the ground, it's Raul Rosas Jr. all day. So the pick is Raul Rosas Jr. He's a much better grappler, much better wrestler. And not Elijah Smith, but Vince Morales lost to Elijah Smith in a grappling heavy approach that he gave up a lot of positions in, and you just can't do that against Raul Rosas Jr. So I see Raul Rosas Jr. getting this fight down to the ground. I see him having his way, whether he just lay and praise on him the entire time. I hope that he doesn't do that like he did with that Ricky Lang fight. I want to see him get another submission finish. I don't think Vince Morales can hold a candle to the ground game of Raul Rosas Jr. So the pick is Raul Rosas Jr. The next fight on the card is in the middleweight division. We got Kevin Gastelum taking on Joe Pyfer. Kevin Gastelum, his last fight against Daniel Rodriguez, I was not impressed. I'm gonna just be honest. Kevin Gastelum damn near lost the fight. I mean, it was much closer than it needed to be. I mean, I put money down on Gastelum. You know what I'm saying? And he had me sweating the entire time. So fuck Kevin Gastelum for that fact. Because, Kevin Gastelum used to be much better, much more dog in him, much more fucking just active, much more in your face. He's just fighting at 180, or he's just fighting at middleweight, and he really needs to be just fighting at, welterweight. He just can't make the weight no more. The commitment issues to his diet is really what's fucking him, because now he's just taking on like bigger guys that hit harder than him. But Kevin Gastelum is very durable. He hasn't been knocked out in any of his UFC fights. I mean, he had that war with Israel Adesanya where, he obviously lost, but it was a good fucking fight. Lost a unanimous decision to Robert Whittaker. Lost a unanimous decision to Jared Cannonier. Bounced back from that, took a unanimous decision win over Chris Curtis, where he actually looked really good, displayed good boxing, good in and out shots. Lost to Sean Brady more recently. Sean Brady just outdogged him on the ground, ended up subbing him, hit him with a Kimura. And then he had that fight against Daniel Rodriguez where he just was not impressive whatsoever. Now he's taking on a young, hungry Joe Pyfer, who is, pretty much knocking just about everybody's dick in the dirt that he fights. He's also pretty good on the ground. He's probably going to have a better ground game than Kevin Gastelum, but I don't see Kevin Gastelum just letting him take him down. I do see this fight. I see it being a fucking banger. I see him scrapping on the feet. I see it being a chess match pretty much. And I think that, Joe Pyfer is just going to outplay him. He's just going to land the harder of the shots. He's just going to look cleaner doing it. He's going to have the wrestling advantage if it does go down to the wrestling, because Kevin Gastelum, his wrestling's good, but we haven't seen any good wrestling offense from him in a while. And Joe Pyfer, he's just showing advancements in his mixed martial arts game every time we see him fight. I mean, he's coming off that TKO win over Marc-Andre Barrio. Cleaned his clock, knocked his dick in the dirt. He's coming off that Jack Hermanson loss by unanimous decision the fight before that, where he pretty much was smoking Jack Hermanson the first 2 rounds, and then Jack Hermanson just put it on him the last 3. So I mean, Kevin Gastelum is not a Jack Hermanson. He's not the size of Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson's a much bigger frame, much taller, and he's much better on the ground than Kevin Gastelum is. And like I said, we haven't seen any really offensive wrestling from Kevin Gastelum in a minute. So I believe the The odds can tell you who right now who's gonna win. Joe Pyfer being a heavy favorite, Kevin Gastelum being a moderate underdog. Joe Pyfer looking hungrier, and Kevin Gastelum just looking hungrier too, but not in the fight sense. I mean, Kevin Gastelum, like I ain't gonna say he fell from grace, but damn, bro, get your diet and shit in order, and you could still be, one of the top ranked fighters. I mean, you had that war with Adesanya. I mean, you fought the who's who of the fucking UFC, and now like he just kind of letting himself go, man. Like it is what it is, Obviously, every fighter eventually has that fall off. But damn, Kevin Gastelum, still one of my favorite fighters. Don't get me wrong. I'm always rooting for Kevin Gastelum, but I just don't think this is a fight that he wins. I think that he gets outworked on the feet, and I believe that if he tries to take it down, Joe Pyfer can catch him in a weird guillotine or some shit and damn near choke him out or get a nasty submission win off of him. I mean, he is training with Sean Brady, who just Kimura Kevin Gastelum. So there's that. So the pick is Joe Pyfer. I don't think he puts Kevin Gastelum away. Kevin Gastelum, man, has a fucking durable ass chin, and man could take a shot. I just think Joe Pyfer is going to be a little bit better than him just about everywhere this fight goes. So give me Joe Pyfer to win this fight by unanimous decision. The next fight on the card, we have Manuel Torres taking on Drew Dober. And I can tell you right now, they saved this fight for the co-main event for a specific reason, because somebody's getting knocked the fuck out. Manuel Torres coming off that loss, that knockout loss to Ignacio Bahamondes, where he displayed a very questionable, fight IQ, to where it's like, okay, when this dude gets cracked, he's not gonna try to switch up his game plan. He's just gonna continue to go out there and throw for the fences and hope that he scores a knockout, and he don't give a fuck if he gets knocked out in the process. Now, I had money on Manuel Torres on that fight, and he really let me down because, like I said, he did not display any type of game plan change when, Ignacio Bahamondes rocked him twice. Like, he's like, just fuck it, I'm going to swing with you, and hopefully I'm going to crack you after you crack me. Like, that type of fight IQ really has me question some of these fighters. Like, okay, yeah, Manuel Torres 3-1 in the UFC, smoked all three of his opponents. Like, I don't think this dude has even ever made it out of like the second round of any of his fights. Like, all of his fights are damn near ending in the first round, and he's usually the one that's coming out on top. But like I said, Ignacio Bahamondes is looking real good in the UFC right now. He's looking promising. I think he just broke into the lightweight ranks. I think he's like ranked number 13 now, maybe 10 or 13, because he just beat Jalen Turner. I mean, he looked good in that fight. Beat Jalen Turner by a triangle choke. Yeah, then Jalen Turner retired after. Just damn, it's kind of unfortunate. But anyway, Manuel Torres taking on Drew Dober. Drew Dober coming off that doctor stoppage loss to Gene Silva. Gene Silva and Drew Dober, they really went to war. They were really banging it out. Gene Silva is just an up and coming prospect in the division who's really he's got some power in his hands, man. He's a fucking menace. Like, I'm just keep it real. He's a menace, and he's gonna be he's future title holder in my opinion. But anyway, Drew Dober looked good in that fight, displayed a lot of toughness, a lot of grit. He could throw shots back, he could land shots too. That cut was just nasty as fuck, so the doctor stopped it. But Drew Dober, it wasn't like he got knocked out like Manuel Torres did. Drew Dober, he does adjust his game plan if he's not winning on the feet. Like, he's not just going to just go out there and just keep swinging with you until you knock him out. I mean, he does display that at times, but he has a higher fight IQ than Manuel Torres does. He'll shoot in for the takedown eventually. He won't just stand there. Like, he's going to try to switch it up eventually to catch you slipping. Manuel Torres, on the other hand, from what I saw, lacks that type of fight IQ. Drew Dober hits hard. Manuel Torres hits hard too. I mean, they're both damn near probably even in height. So, I mean, it's not like, yeah, well, I mean, Manuel Torres he's like 2 inches taller. It's not like Drew Dober's Ignacio Bahamondes' size. So I could see Manuel Torres having a little bit better or a little bit more success in this fight than he did with Baja Mondes. But like I said, Drew Dober is a dog. Drew Dober got that dog in him. He's game. He hits hard as fuck. I mean, the dude's got an iron chin. He's got a fucking block head. A man's head is built like a damn cinder block. So he could take a hard punch. He could deliver a hard punch too. And shit, I'm gonna put my money on Drew Dober on this one. This is also a fight that you just don't want to bet on because it's too risky, because it could go either way. If you do bet on this fight, bet that it does not go the distance. Like inside the distance is probably the safest play here, because we've never really seen Manuel Torres outside of the first round, and we've seen Drew Dober go to war plenty of times outside of the first round. So my pick is Drew Dober, but the best bet is to bet that this fight does not go the distance. Now, the main event of the evening in the flyweight division, we got Brandon Moreno taking on Steve Erceg. Brandon the Assassin Baby Moreno taking on Steve Astro Boy Erceg. What can I say about this fight other than the fact that Brandon Moreno is going to beat Steve Erceg everywhere this fight goes? Plain and simple. I mean, Brandon Moreno just came off that unanimous decision victory over Amir El-Bazzi, where he literally beat the brakes off Amir El-Bazzi for 5 fucking rounds, 25 minutes straight. I mean, and Amir El-Bazzi was, I believe, 17-0 going into that fight. A very huge, hyped up prospect who everybody thought that Brandon Moreno was too old and he's past his prime. And I'm sitting there just thinking to myself, like, are y'all fucking serious? Like, Amir El-Bazzi has not even fought the level of competition that Brandon Moreno has fought. I mean, Brandon Moreno has a split decision loss to Brandon Royval. You know how good Royval is, so if that's a split decision, that means that fight could have went either way. A split decision loss to the champion and Alexandre Pantoja. If you know how good Alexandre Pantoja is, you know that Brandon Moreno is a good fucking pick on that fight too. A win over Davison Figueiredo, where he made Davison Figueiredo pretty much move up in weight, and then a knockout win at that over Kai Kara-France. Now, Steve Erceg, on the other hand, he's coming off a knockout loss to Kai Kara-France, where Kai Kara-France, I think, starched him in the second round. And you know what? I had money on Astro Boy to bounce back during that fight too, and he just showed that he has a hole in his game where he leaves his chin up there too high, and he is susceptible to getting his clock cleaned. And then before that fight, he lost a unanimous decision to Alexandre Pantoja, where it was a good, closely contested fight. I mean, to say unanimous decision, yeah, I mean, Steve Erceg arguably won, I believe, the last round. It was a good fight. It was much better than, everybody thought that it was gonna be, because for the most part everybody expected Alexandre Pantoja to run through him, and that just didn't happen. The fight before that knocks out Matt Schnell. I mean, he's got some pretty decent wins on his record. Like I said, Matt Schnell, I mean, it's fucked up because Matt Schnell just ain't got no chin no more. I mean, if you saw the video where Matt Schnell got knocked out to baby pillow punches on the ground, you know what I'm talking about. But the fight before that, unanimous decision win over Alexandre Costa. Alexandre Costa can crack. He got hard hands. He got heavy power behind this shit. But then, losing that good close fight to Alexandre Pantoja, and then getting knocked the fuck out by Kai Kara-France in less than fucking 10 minutes is just beyond me. So I don't know what happened in that department, but he just showed an obvious hole in his game that I believe Brandon Moreno will be able to exploit. Brandon Moreno coming off that win over Amir El-Bazzi, where he looked clean as fuck everywhere the fight went. Good defensive wrestling, good offensive wrestling, good defensive striking, good offensive striking. Like, Brandon Moreno is still a very, very highly touted contender in the division. And with this win over Steve Erceg, yeah, you might have to give him that fucking quadrilogy with Alexandre Pantoja. Yeah, Alexandre Pantoja beat him a few times already, but maybe run back the Brandon Royval loss that he got. Run back that fight. But Brandon Royval looking, I think he just had a fight where he pulled out, where he was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Manel Kopp. That's what it was. He was supposed to fight Manel Kopp, and that fight didn't happen because Brandon Royval, he said that he got concussed during training. So Manel Kopp went on to fight Asu Amabayev, where he eye poked his way to the win and then beat the fuck out of Asu Amabayev. But at the same time, like, he was gonna win that fight regardless. I mean, but you see the state of the flyweight division at the moment. You got Pantoja at the top, you got Royval, you got Brandon Moreno, you got Manel Kopp, you got Tatsuro Taira. I mean, I want to see Manel Kopp versus Tatsuro Taira, or Manel Kopp. This should have been a Manel Kopp versus Kai Kara France fight right here, instead of Steve Erceg versus Brandon Moreno. I don't get it. Like, Steve Erceg just got knocked out by Kai Kara France in his last fight. So how is he, fighting the number 3 guy, and he just, got starched by like the number 6 guy? It just don't make sense right now. But this fight card is starting to make more sense in my mind, because it's set up for the Hispanic fighters to get a W in New Mexico. That's what's going on here. This is like one of those PFL fight cards that, I sweep every time I make a bet on. Like, go fucking 13 legs, 14 legs, just hit every fight in a row without any type of hiccups. So the pick is going to be Brandon the baby assassin Moreno to get the job done. He's much better than Steve Erceg. Fought a lot better fighters than him in the division. So yeah, Brandon the baby assassin Moreno will get the job done. He's just got more dog in him. His technique looks a lot cleaner than what it has in the past. And Steve Erceg, he leaves his chin straight up too goddamn much, and we saw that exploited during his last fight. Steve Erceg does have good boxing, don't get me wrong, but Brandon Moreno is just levels ahead of him at this point in his career. So it's an easy pick for me, easy lock of the night. Brandon the baby assassin Moreno gets it done and gets thrown right back in title contention once again in that crazy ass flyweight shark pool of challengers and contenders. Now, if you made it this far in the video, it's that time for me to give you guys my 5 locks of the night, the people that I believe will get the job done, and then we get to the underdog section right after this. So let's get to it right now. Give me Lupi Godinez. She's going to have an edge and experience. She's going to be the much better fighter. She's fought a ton of fucking top fighters in her division already. Give me Ronaldo Rodriguez. He's just a little bit better than Kevin Borjas. Got more dog in him. Give me David Martinez. Got a whole lot of dog in him compared to Oliveira. Give me Raul Rosas Jr. He's going to be the much better grappler, the much better fighter. Give me Brandon Moreno, because I just can't trust Steve Erceg, and the performance that I saw from Brandon Moreno, very impressive his last fight. Brandon Moreno gets it done. Those are my top 5 locks of the night. And without further ado, y'all know I got that underdog for you, that value that's going to, flip your money. So let's get right into it.
Come and spend your money with me in the dog pound. Young niggas in the game for a check. Do 150 across the city when it goes down. Young niggas better aim for the deck. It was about 3:15, what they say about me. Somebody gon' pay for the debt. And every time I show up on these niggas when I come round, young nigga got a thing for respect. Come and spend your money with me in the dog pound. Young niggas in the game for a check. Do 150 across the city when it goes down. Young niggas better aim for the deck. It was about 3:15, what they say about me. Somebody gon' pay for the debt. And every time I show up on these niggas when I come round, young nigga got a thing for respect. No, I ain't spend a lot of money on a chain. Shit, I'm too busy in the jungle with the Migos, nigga. I just put a lot of money towards the thing. And I just kept my focus forward toward the CeeLos, nigga. And the Migos call me Skipper with the bang. I just let them niggas know I do my thing. You hear the police think I'm rocking with the Rico niggas, just let them know I only entertain. Cause you only see me flocking with the best. Always been that nigga, see me throwing up the West. Every time you see me, I be dipping nothing less. A fight broke out. I woke up the next morning and caught these new boys on my route. Come and spend your money with me in the dog pound. Young niggas in the game for a check. Do 150 across the city when it goes down. Young niggas better aim for the deck. It was about 3:15, what they say about me. Somebody gon' pay for the debt. And every time I show up on these niggas when I come round, young nigga got a thing for respect. Come and spend your money with me in the dog pound. Young niggas in the game for a check. Do 150 across the city when it goes down. Young niggas better aim for the deck. It was about 3:15, what they say about me. Somebody gon' pay for the debt. And every time I show up on these niggas when I come round, young nigga got a thing for respect. Gary Glove, you can't guard me. I can get robbed.
There you have it, Melt Costa, the underdog lock of the night. Melt Costa got that dog in him. He's showing improvements in each and every one of his fights. And I believe when they get down to the mat that Christian Rodriguez is going to feel exactly how strong he is. And he may be too much for Christian Rodriguez down there. So yeah, Melt Costa, underdog lock of the night. UFC Mexico City. I'll see y'all at the bank.
Like a limousine, all white, blue and gold like I'm Mr. Clean. Every day I got it sold like it's Halloween. All I need is something bold in a magazine. Young niggas come and spend your money with me in the dog pound.